dogs and kittens to my mom, to when I was an adult and I decided I was young and married and had a kid and decided we needed to increase our family, so I went to get a dog. There was no SPCA or shelter in the town I live in, which is just north of Edmonton here. And so I thought the pound, that'd be a great place to go look, rescue a dog. So I got to the pound and there was 6 dogs there, all different varying sizes and ages. And the dog I picked was this fat gray brown puppy that growled at me. And I decided she was coming home with me, but of course my guilty conscience had to ask, what happens to the other puppies that I don't pick? Because it's not an SPCA, it's the pound. What happens? And they explained to me on the following morning they'd all be euthanized because there was nobody that claimed them in 3 business days, so they were all going to be euthanized. So needless to say, I came home with 6 puppies. Probably why I'm divorced. But I came home with 6 puppies and immediately started networking to try and find where I could take these little youngsters that I didn't need. I was feeding them out of my own pocket, trying to raise them with my children. And I drove them 2.5 hours to an SPCA and thought I'd done such a great job. And then the next day the phone rang and they had 6 more. So that's kind of how my adult life started in rescue. I couldn't say no and I just kept bringing them home until finally I decided to join a rescue group and actually do it legitimately. I now foster 35 dogs for Second Chance Animal Rescue. Everybody always said, like, wow, that must be so crazy, but I mean, it's no different than going to work with anything else, right? You go to work with an office full of personalities you have to blend with. So you have your party animals, that's the dog that runs around and jumps and humps everything. You've got your troublemaker, you know, that's the one that always bites everyone, is very confrontational. You've got your workaholic, that's your tennis ball fiend that's just vibrating with anticipation. And then you've got that one weird guy that kind of pees on your stuff and gives you stink eye. Exact same as the office. I'm really excited to be here today and introduce Pandora. She's one of our foster dogs and she's on the website. I'll talk more about her in a bit, but Pandora was actually a breeding dog. She was a backyard puppy mill, if you will, and all her puppies were sold as purebred pit bull puppies. They were sold on Kijiji and on ads in the newspaper, while Pandora was chained outside without even the comforts of a doghouse. She had frostbitten ears, a frostbitten tail. She produced so many puppies back to back that her actually breasts won't recede. She had to have her breasts amputated because they were so badly frostbitten, they were that badly damaged. So this is a great example of what we're here for today. Buying a puppy off Kijiji, and this is what's happening to mom. So these kind of stories, I mean, I'm sure all of you have them, but spending as much time with dogs as I get to, you can't deny the fact that they have their own individual personalities. You can't deny the fact that they experience pain, suffering, joy, happiness. They understand trust. Being an animal rescue, I'm fortunate to see animals and value life in all forms of it, from dogs to cats to horses to cats. I said cats twice. They're that important. Chickens. Deep down, I don't think anybody wants to cause suffering to an animal. I mean, there's obviously exceptions to that rule, but deep down, I think in general, everybody wants to be good to them. You just don't know how to do it. Animal rights and animal welfare speak to everything, from animals in our food industry, to animals in laboratories, to circuses, to our companion animals like Pandora. What if the animals that we had in our day-to-day lives before they entered the food industry, before they entered our clothing, didn't experience fear? They didn't experience pain and suffering. Wouldn't it be great? Shouldn't we expect them to have the freedom to run and play and walk and socialize, to exhibit all the natural tendencies that God granted us? Shouldn't it be common sense that our companion animals, cats and dogs, want to run and play and scratch and dig in the dirt to bring it in my house so I can vacuum? That cows and chickens and pigs want to do the exact same thing? As a living, breathing entity, shouldn't they be allowed to do that exact same thing? I think most of you and most of everybody would be shocked to find out that animals in our food industries don't experience that freedom at all. That's where we need to improve. Jane Goodall once said, "We can't act unless we care, and we don't care unless we understand." Ignorance is bliss, and the less you know, the more it will hurt you, or inevitably it'll hurt the animals. If you're motivated to act, then you're motivated to do something that'll make changes today and in the future for all of our animals. It would be great if we were all vegans and we wore hemp shoes, but it's a little it would be great, but it's a little unattainable. Like, I couldn't imagine telling my grandpa he's never eating bacon again. But we are Albertans, and we are Canadians, and we value freedom, we value the great outdoors, we value all the things that nature has around us, so doesn't it make sense that we should value that for our animals? How is it possible that we don't? What you can do to help is what everybody should do. It's the responsible consumer. As a consumer, we are the most powerful person in that industry. We decide what they sell to us because of what we buy, not the other way around. If you do your research and you look at your options, we can all make responsible choices. There's a new certification on produce and meats and stuff like that at the grocery store. I believe Superstore sells them. It's BC certified. These are from farms that treat their animals humanely, free of cages. The animals are free to express animalistic qualities that make life worth living. If you look for the BC SPCA certified stamp and buy groceries with that on it, or pressure your grocery store to bring those items in. These are animals that are living a quality of life that we can all support. You can learn what's in your makeup and make proper choices so that it's not at the expense of a laboratory animal. Don't buy dogs and cats, or any animal for that matter, off Kijiji. Think of Pandora when that happens. Last but not least, one of the things we can do, and one of the things we should do, is go home and watch the DVD called The Ghost in Our Machine. It's on iTunes, you can download it. It gives you an eye-opening view about animals in our industries, all of them, from coats to fur lining to what lands on your table before breakfast. The excuse I can't watch movies like that anymore because they upset me doesn't work. It's those of us that are upset that are compelled to act. What you do makes a difference, but you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. That's it. Thank you.